Hi and welcome on to the All Guns Blazing podcast with my man DT in the building. Hope you're doing well, DT. And today's show brought to you today by Profit Accumulator. Thanks to guys from Profit Accumulator for sponsoring the show. We're going to jump straight into it. We had the first game against Benfica the other night. 1-1 draw. And, you know, we're going to touch on that in a minute, right? But the next 3 games are 3 games from hell, right? 3 games from hell, really. If you're an Arsenal supporter, if you're Mikel Arteta, Manchester City, followed up by the second leg against Benfica, which is an absolute must-win and right in the balance now, 1-1. Followed up by the team that's currently in second place, Leicester. 3 of the very hardest games you could possibly think to have right now. That you can't think of 3 more tougher games for the manager Mikel Arteta. What do you think of it? This is it. This is crunch time. This is it. This is where a manager earns his money. This is where a manager proves himself.
It's what's the word? It's season defining for me. The Europa League game in particular is the season definer. We could have gone into the Man City and Leicester game in better shape because we could have made a lot of changes for the second leg because it should have been over. The tie should have been done. Despite the fact that we played so poorly, we created so many clear-cut chances. And I've lost count the amount of times that you, me, and every other Arsenal fan have said, if we're going to stand a chance of winning the Europa League or progressing, we need Aubameyang firing. We've got Aubameyang firing, and all the big chances fall to him, and he misses them. And it's like, oh, mate. Like, why was that one the night where you had an off night? Do you know, and it's... So, yeah, we're going to have to do it the hard way. Manchester City, listen, even if it wasn't in the middle of this period we're in, it's Man City. They are an unbelievable team. And they're where they are, rightly so. 10 points clear at the top of the league. Champions in waiting.
17 wins in a row.
Ridiculous. And I think they've scored over 40 goals in that period and conceded 5 or 6, something like that. And I did see a very quirky statistic a couple of days ago that made me smile. And that's Pep Guardiola's longest winning runs. And his first one was at Bayern Munich, ended by Arsenal. His second longest run was at Bayern Munich, ended by Arsenal. His third longest run and his recent Man City. Who they got next? They say it comes in threes. You never know. So I looked at that stat and I was laughing when I see it because I was like, yeah, that might give me a little something to hold on to. Maybe Mikel's got something in his locker that no other manager will have because he will know Pep Guardiola better than anybody. He will know every player bar the new ones better than any other manager in the Premier League. And, you know, I look at the games that we've played against Manchester City since Arteta's been manager. And we had the one straight after lockdown, the first game back. And I feel that there were so many things that could have gone wrong. You can't blame a manager for that defeat. Luiz getting sent off. Pablo Mari and Granit Xhaka getting injured in the first 10 minutes. You know, the mistakes and everything else. And then we led to the semi-final of the FA Cup. And I said to you, this will be the first real test without any of these, you know, bits of bad luck or whatever. Let's see Arteta versus Guardiola. And Arteta was superb on that day. And the way we set up, 2-0 win. Man City had 1 shot on target all game. They had a full strength side. It was a brilliant, brilliant performance. And then we go to the game at the Etihad this season. And Man City were missing players. They weren't in the form that they were in. And I was really disappointed with that result because I felt that was a good opportunity to go there and get something from the Etihad, given the situation that they were in at that time. And we lost 1-0. And I suppose the only silver lining to that was that it wasn't a battering like it always is when we go to one of these big teams. And then you had the Carabao Cup game, and half-time, 1-1. First 20 minutes, Man City were excellent, but the goal was down to a mistake by Runarsson in the first half where he didn't come for the cross. And then, inexcusably, Runarsson done what he did with that free kick from Mahrez and dropped it into the net. And we lose that game. So I look at the games and I think that there's not been that much between us in terms of the games. Do you know what I mean? The quality of Man City's there. And there's periods in these games where you look and you go, wow, they're a league above us by a million miles. But we're competing, you know, bar a few things that are out of our control, playing mistakes and stuff like that and injuries. I thought we've done all right relatively against Man City, but this is going to be the real big one because
we haven't beaten them. We haven't beaten them in the league for I can't remember how many years now.
It's been a while, and they normally come to the Emirates and slap us.
Yeah, exactly. They're one of the few teams actually, because there's a lot of teams that over the years have slapped us at their place, but then when they've come to the Emirates, it's been a different story. But they're the one team that do come to the Emirates and get a lot of joy all the time. And then I know the Royner's back now all of a sudden, and
Aguero, and I see it the other day. I see him like, come on against Everton on Wednesday night, and I was like, go away, just go away, please. Can't you like have a couple of weeks in training and just integrate slowly? Do you know what I mean? Why do you have to return for us? Every big player gets injured during the course of the season, and their return is against Arsenal. It's always the same. I just sit there and go, please, just go away. Leave us alone. Just leave us. So I'm looking at it and I'm hoping, for me personally, I think that Man City have won the league. Man City are playing in the Champions League next week. That is their priority. Pep Guardiola needs to rest the full first team, the under-23s, the under-18s, and play like the under-16s against us. And he needs to do Mikel a favour.
Yeah, he'll probably be elite as well. What I've been watching a lot of City games, right? And I just get the impression sometimes as well, though, that teams are too scared of them.
Yeah.
So this is how I looked on it, right? I look on it and I say, when you look at teams I watched Tottenham last weekend play. You know, obviously on my new channel, we did like a watch along, right? So there was a Man City fan, Stephen McKerney, and also Tottenham fan Toby, and I was there stirring it, right? But I watched that game, and it was really interesting because obviously I'm watching them too, but I'm watching it and I'm like, much as I wanted Tottenham to lose, I'm like, why are they not braver? Why they're not having a? And then I see a lot of teams like this. It's like they go into the game and they're like, well, we already know City are going to have all the possession. We already know City are going to dominate. I think the mindset sometimes going into games against Manchester City is all wrong. And I was just like really thinking about it and saying to myself, do you know what I would like to see when Arsenal play them this weekend? I want to see them have a go. You know, and not recklessly, obviously, because if you recklessly have a go against City, we know they can destroy teams. But I want to get rid of that fear factor out of their head and try and put it on them a bit.
Yeah, no, I get that.
So many teams I've seen play Man City, particularly since they've been on that run, and they're playing. It's a bit like we used to be like that back in the day. Teams were scared of us before we've even played. And I then look at City sometimes when they play in Europe, and I'm like, some of those teams they play in Europe seem to be a little less fearful of City, probably because they don't play them as regularly as, you know, and they don't see them as much as we do. Yeah. But they seem to be less fearful of City.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So we're going to there with some. I want to see a performance from us. I don't want to just see us go in there and just say, "Oh, go, you go, have all the position, and yeah, if we lose, you were much better than us." Let's have a go. Let's try and do something against them.
No, I get what you're saying.
I don't care that the fact that we got Benfica coming up next, and we'll talk about that. I don't care that that's the next game. if you're gonna, I mean, look at the success of City this season, because they started the season poorly. The success of City is going on a run. Wins breed wins, right? So I want to see that. Imagine what that would do for us if we could pull off a great result against Manchester City.
It'd be unreal. It'd be an unreal result, and one that nobody expects, even us. But I do get what you're saying with that fear factor. I think Liverpool had it last season, you know, when they were on that unbeaten run and people were talking about invincible. And there was just that element that Liverpool had won the game before they were even on the pitch. And we had it with the Invincibles. And we've seen players say that, you know, they used to look at players in the eyes in the tunnel at Highbury and they knew they'd beaten them. And we were a big, imposing, powerful team. And they used to be tight up to you in the tunnel and think, nah, I don't want that today. And Man United had it in '99 as well. That, you know, the air of like, yeah, you ain't beating us. And yeah, Man City have got it right now. And I feel that they need to take credit for, you know, drilling that into some people's heads, because their performances are the reason why. You know, the start of this season, Man City were awful at the start of the season. They were all over the place. And, you know, Pep Guardiola's, you know, turned things around massively. And what he's done is he's structurally builds a solid base. And defensively, they've been able to then go and express themselves. And the difference that Man City have is that they do have, you know, expressive, world-class attacking players. You know, Riyad Mahrez is not a starter for Manchester City, but he would walk straight into our team. You know, there's so many players there at Man City that when one player comes out, another comes in. Aguero's been out for how long? De Bruyne has been out for how long? You know, if we lost, you know, we got to look, when we lose Thomas Partey, we lose Kieran Tierney, all of a sudden our side looks completely different. Already we don't look as strong. Already we look weaker. Man City lose De Bruyne and Aguero and whoever it may be, and you don't notice. You just sit there and go, okay, they carry on. And that's testament to them in that respect.
But it's also like the way they are on the ball. But I'm just saying that I just see teams play and everything they do is safety first against City. All of the bravery goes out of it. So nobody attempts to do anything a bit out of the ordinary because they don't want to lose possession, because they're like, oh, if we lose possession, City will be through. But I want to see Arsenal be brave in this game. I want to see them press City when they need to press. I want to see them, you know, do a bit of skill to get past a player and play a player through and draw a couple of players towards it. I want to see that. I don't want to just see us go into that game. I've seen so many teams do it this season where it's just like, it's City. They'll have all the ball. When we get it, play it simple, keep it safe. And that's why I believe that they've done so well. You know, of course they're an unbelievable side, but there's a lot of teams they play that have got, you know, starting 11s. When you look at the starting 11s, they're not miles off City sometimes, but it's just City just relentless in their bravery, relentless in the way they play the game, right? And they do it against everybody. But everybody else changes up. When they play. Whereas the only team I've seen not change up, although they did this season, and that's probably why they lost. But last season, for instance, Liverpool didn't change their game when they played City. They came and they said, you're bringing your game, we're bringing our game. And I mean, they were great games, and Liverpool, you know, on the whole, come out on top. But the other day, as I said, when I saw Tottenham last week, and I'm like, you've changed your game up completely because you're playing City. You're not playing to your strengths. You're not trying to use your weapon. You've got weapons. You've got players like Son, Harry Kane, and that who could get in City's team. Ndombele, and you're not using these guys because you're so scared of what's coming the other way. And I want to see Arsenal, even though we're not as good as City, I want to see us give a better account of ourselves. I felt. Do you remember when we played them right in the semi-final, the FA Cup? There's a goal we scored when we played out from the back, beat their press, and went all the way down the other end and scored. Remember that?
Yeah, the first goal.
That's what I'm talking about. Bravery.
Yeah.
A very brave thing to do, to say, right, do you know you're up against a real high-pressing, high energy team, and to play it out from the back and score a goal like that. That goal was underestimated because
Yeah,
it
of course.
takes a lot of bravery. City don't get a lot of goals conceded against them like that because nobody really attempts it.
Mm. Yeah,
Everybody,
no, I get that.
Sitting, counter.
Mm-hmm. What? Look, what?
You know, come on. I mean, I want to have a go, man.
No, I know. One of the most important things is going to be team selection. I actually think there's going to be a lot of changes for this game, and I think it's needed. I think that not just with Thursday in mind, but my idea of what I want to see out there actually doesn't make us weaker. And people could argue that it's near enough an 11 that you would want to see for Thursday against Benfica.
All right, you know what? We're going to do that. I've got the...
Here he goes.
I've got the... good way of promoting it. But if you get onto AFTV VIP, right, on there, you can select your team. So we're going to select DT's team, right? What's your formation?
4-2-3-1.
All right, so we're going to go we're going to go 4-2-3-1, right? So give me your team because I'm really intrigued to know. You know, there have been some people who are like, "Oh, just rest up a load of." Again, I don't like this.
No. I'll get what you're saying. Let me go through it. Let me go through it.
One second, but I've heard people, "Oh, just play a weakened team. Who cares about that? Let's concentrate on Benfica." Nah, I don't like that.
I get it. Leno in goal.
All right.
Cedric right back.
Cedric.
Yeah.
Right.
Right centre back, David Luiz.
Okay. Yeah.
Left centre back, Pablo Mari.
Okay.
I'll just give Gabriel a break with Thursday in mind, so he's one I will rest. Left back, Kieran Tierney.
No rest for Tierney.
What's he need a rest for? He's just come back. He's played 15 minutes.
He's just come back from injury.
Yeah, but he's playing. He's fit. Playing. Playing.
All right.
I don't think Thomas Partey is going to be available, is he?
No, not by the looks of it.
No.
This is the problem area.
Yeah, very problem area. I wouldn't go too defensive because you're just inviting Man City on then. I would go with the same midfield that beat Man City in the semi-final, which is Surpassed and Granit Xhaka.
All right, got to play
They did very well then.
Yeah.
Right wing, Pepe.
Okay, Pepe.
Number 10, Odegaard. Very impressed with him the other night. Left wing, Martinelli.
Okay.
And up front, Lacazette.
Okay, so you know, there's your team there. So you have made a lot of changes, but I hear what you're saying. There's still quite a strong team. So going for it. Leno in goal, I agree with. Cedric in. So you resting Bellerin?
Taking him out.
Were you resting him for Thursday?
No, I'm taking him out. I want Cedric to have a run at a right back.
All right. So Cedric, David Luiz, Mari, and Tierney. That's risky. You need that guy that is one player we do need for Thursday. But then I suppose he needs game time, doesn't he?
He does, because he looked rusty against Benfica. So he needs minutes. At the end of the day, if he's not able to play, you know, this game and then go into Thursday's game, then he's not ready to be back.
Okay. So buy some Granit Xhaka, Pepe, Odegaard, Martinelli. So you're resting Saka.
Yeah.
And you're resting Aubameyang, and you're bringing in Lacazette. Actually, that's, you know, when you look at that team, that is still a very strong team. You know,
very strong. Very strong. And then you're giving the likes of Smith Rowe a break, Saka a break, Aubameyang a break, Gabriel. You know, and then when it comes to Thursday, you're going to have those players available for selection and fresh, dependent on what happens in this game as well. Will Thomas Partey be available? I look at that team, Robbie, and I don't think that that's the team where we go. If that was the starting 11 on Sunday, I don't think anybody could moan at that. You can't look at that and go, "Oh, he's not really caring about this game. We've already thrown in the towel." That's it. It's got energy. It's got pace. Martinelli's going to press and get in everybody's face. Lacazette with a hold-up play. Odegaard more minutes in his legs. And I'm not worried about him playing Thursday, Sunday, Thursday. I was really impressed with him. And I watched the game again. Don't know why, but I watched the game again because because you know what it is, Robbie? Because you're so emotionally attached when the game's live. There's things you don't see. You're just in the moment and whatever. And I like to look at games again with a fresh pair of eyes. And when I watched it, I'll tell you something, the movement on this boy, he's just little ways he just finds pockets of space. We as a team now need to start trusting him. Give him the ball. There was countless times where he had made a little run, found a pocket, and we just weren't making a simple 5-10 yard pass into him. And we were reverting to... So it's about understanding. Do you remember when Thomas Partey first joined us? And I think it was his first game he came in. And you could see him dropping into areas where he was saying, give me the ball. And a player might be behind him, but we were bypassing him. And then I think that as time goes on and you train and you learn, you can give the ball to Thomas Partey with 2-3 man on his back. He ain't losing the ball. He's going to be fine. So I think the players now need to start understanding Odegaard and say, give the boy the ball. Because in the second half in particular, there were a couple of passes he made that had me looking like, oi, hold on a minute. I like that. He put that pass through for Aubameyang when he shot it wide. The pass that he put through for Aubameyang where he nearly got it ahead of the goalkeeper. Yeah. Some beautiful, beautiful passing. And
we ain't seen a lot of that this season, have we?
No, we haven't seen a lot of that. And there was a moment in the first half, and I know it was offside, but then when weren't we offside in the first half? Where he got the ball in the box and his little quick feet opened up the space and he tried cutting back for Surpassed and it got caught under his legs. And it's just little things he does where I look and I go, you know what? Up here, he's got one hell of a football brain. He sees a picture. And just by looking at the pockets of space he picks up, that's crucial. And I just feel that it's a big asset to have. And it's something that we've been missing.
I like him. I like what I've seen so far. Mikel Arteta has been speaking very highly of him. Real Madrid this week been getting very annoyed with him apparently because the rumors are saying that they've been pretty angry with him because he keeps making noises about wanting to stay at Arsenal, and apparently that's not gone down well. But Arteta was sort of saying, well, maybe he might want to stay. You know what I mean? And,
maybe. So what?
And he was gushing over him. He was saying that in training and what he's seen of him and the way he's been able to settle in. He's come and he's settled in great in the dressing room. Of course, he speaks, as all Norwegians do, perfect English. And he's really at home at Arsenal, really at home in that dressing room. And all it does sound, I mean, it's way too early to say it's only 2 games and we don't know what Real Madrid will do, but it does sound like he might want to stay at Arsenal. And if he can come in and he can do a job and he can do really, really well, I reckon Arsenal could convince him to stay. And I reckon Real Madrid, their financial situation is horrendous at the moment.
Yeah.
Might be, despite the noises they're making, a guy that there's hardly ever play, and they've got so many other midfielders, they may let him go. And we wouldn't even be going after these Buendias and so. Because from what I've seen of him, he's brave with the ball. He wants the ball. He wants to get the ball forward. He's energetic as well. That's the thing. I remember I did an interview with a channel called TV3. They're based over in Norway, sports channel. They're like sort of their Sky over there, right? And when I asked the presenter, I said, "What sort of a player are we getting in Odegaard?" He basically said it's Özil with legs. So you know what I mean, a guy that will do all the dirty stuff, get back, but can do the Özil stuff as well. So. Yeah. And if it's that, and maybe, like you said, what I like about your team is you've got a couple of players in there who will be 4 players in there in particular. They're going to be very hungry to do well. And that's Pepe, surely. He wouldn't be too happy of being left out the other night. He'll be hungry to do well. Martinelli, he'll be hungry. I mean, he came on the other night. I felt sorry for him. I don't think he touched the ball. He came on so little time left. Odegaard will be hungry. High profile game, big game. These are the games that he signed for Real Madrid to type of play. These big high profile games. Be broadcast live in Norway. Lacazette missed the last 2 games. Been on form. A bit unlucky because Aubameyang came in, scored a hat-trick. You're thinking you can't leave him out. So those 4 players are going to be like, yeah, I want to play against Benfica. That's what we want as well.
Yeah,
so,
that's what I said to you. That's what I said to you. And, you know, you look at I just think that that's got so much energy. And, you know, do you remember, I think it was last week's podcast, I said to you that I think that, all right, there are games where Martinelli's going to play on the left, but I genuinely believe that Arsenal have now identified that his position is going to be as a striker. And it was quite, you know, noticeable as well that when he came on against Benfica, he replaced Aubameyang and went up front.
And you know what? And DT, right? This goes back to my argument last week. There was a lot of people losing it, including me. I'm not going to be wise after. I was losing it a bit when he brought Willian on in that game. And then I remember after the game, I said to myself, actually, like, you know, like when things cool down, you go back and look over and you think, why? And then I said, actually, you know what? I see what happened with the Willian thing. Why he didn't bring, because a lot of people were losing it because why didn't he bring on Martinelli? And I was like, you know, actually, he had planned to bring off Aubameyang and bring Martinelli on. But when they got that second goal back now, he then thought to himself, no, let me just shut this down. And that's when he brought on El Neni. And he brought on Rob Holding at the end as well. And by the way, I've noticed you haven't had him, you didn't put him in. Rob Holding.
No, I'm going to keep David Luiz there. I don't think he's doing anything wrong.
Okay.
And I feel he offers that bit of experience.
All right. What would then be your team for the Benfica game, considering it would be the sort of formation? Because if you're going to start this team on Sunday, then give me your Benfica away over in Athens, or home, should I say, in Athens game.
Mate, don't say home. We're actually playing further away from London for our home leg than our away leg.
I know, it's crazy.
So
what's the point? I don't know why they're bothering with away goals in this as well.
Well, do you know what the thing is? Yeah, is that I looked at all the results in the Europa League games, and only 2 games were there not an away goal in the whole thing. I think it was Lazio and Leicester that didn't score away from home. Everybody did, and there were like 3s and 4s. So I don't know whether they're also experiencing the same thing that we've noticed in the Premier League, that there's not really a home advantage.
There's no home advantage. Look the other PSG going away to Barcelona and, you know, thrashing them in their stadium. I'm not too sure if that would have happened, even though they're a way better team than Barcelona. I'm not too sure if that happened with Barcelona's fans in there.
Yeah, they wouldn't have been too happy at all, would they? But
the handkerchiefs would be out waiting.
Yeah, going mad, wouldn't they? But
like, give me a team.
Yeah, I'm looking at it and I'm thinking, if everybody's fit, bear in mind, this is what I'm going with. I will go with Leno in goal, Cedric, Luiz, Gabriel, Tierney.
All right.
Granit Xhaka and Partey.
Right.
If everybody's fit, this is. I'm going to go with Saka on the right, Odegaard in the 10, Pepe on the left, Aubameyang up front.
Okay.
And that's what I will go with for Benfica, if everybody's fit and available.
So, listen, with rotation, you've just produced 2 pretty strong teams. No Smith Rowe in either of those, though, I've noticed.
Yeah, I think he needs a break. I genuinely think he needs a break. He's looking really leggy, very tired. And I feel that him working on that left-hand side works in certain games. But against Benfica, it didn't work. And I feel that given the fact that Benfica are going to play a high line, and I can't see them changing that, we need to utilise it. We've already got, you know, 1 round against them, shall we say. So we've got a chance to size them up and see what they're about. And likewise, they'll feel the same with us. utilize those spaces. And I feel that if fit, Thomas Partey, Kieran Tierney, those are two players that have been very good at pinging those passes, over the top of high lines and players running onto. And that's what we need to do. And I feel that I look at those two teams and I think they're two strong teams. We've rotated. Players have got, minutes, rest, etc. And there's a good balance there. And we've also got to remember, before we go to the Leicester game, I was quite happy in some respects at their result in the Europa League, drawing 0-0 away from home, no away goal. They're not going to be going into their Europa League game 3 days before they play us with a sense of like, game's over, rest everybody. They're going to have to go for it if they want to progress in the competition, that is. But, Leicester playing at home.
Leicester, that's a big. They want to do well in Europe. They're gonna do their strongest possible team for that game. Yeah. So that helps. I mean, the fact that when we do return back, we're going to Leicester, but it's not Leicester with fans. It's just going to Leicester. You know what I mean? So
like when we went to Leicester, you remember when we played there?
Yeah. Actually, there was more fans. There'll be more fans for that game.
Do you know what I mean? I remember that.
So the thing is about it is that you're right. I mean, we're going to be playing against a Leicester that's going to have the same problems as us. They're going to need to juggle their squad, right? We're going to be playing against actually even though they've got an unbelievable squad, but Manchester City, it'd be interesting what they do with their squad because all right, I think they've got Borussia Mönchengladbach in the Champions League next week, their first, sort of foray into the Champions League since the restart of that. But that's a huge game for them. City, Pep Guardiola's under a lot of pressure to deliver in the Champions League. On paper, you'd say, that's quite an easy draw for Man City. But I think they'll probably hold back some of their better players for that Mönchengladbach game. That's probably a more important game than the Arsenal game for them because they are so far ahead in the league. Just saying.
I get what you're saying, but the problem is that they're holding back players, and who they're going to bring through to get minutes is the likes of Kevin De Bruyne. So it's like, De Bruyne.
And it might be that they might rest, say, I don't know, maybe a Ruben Diaz or
a Gundogan.
Gundogan, I think he had a little injury. Remember last week against Tottenham?
I did see him go down against Tottenham, and I don't wish injury on any player. But I was like, just be out for a week or so, just till next week, just till after our game. Have a nice rest.
It did make a lot of difference the other night because they still put 3 past Everton. You know what I mean? And that's the thing about them. Their squad is unreal. But a couple of the real hot guys. I mean. I like them not to play Sterling because he always just does something special against us.
Yeah.
So
he does, doesn't he? I'm going to send him a message. I'm going to send him a message before Sunday and tell him, stay at home. Just stay at home, please.
Love him to be missing because, I mean, he always... But they might, though. They might juggle it a bit because I don't expect them to go with their very, very... best starting 11 as we won't, because that game is a very they cannot afford to.
I know. Look, like I said to you, I just hope that Mikel is on the phone to Pep this week. They're having a nice little conversation. They talk regular from what we hear, and Pep's always there to give advice. And I hope they're talking about what wine they're going to drink after the game and how the family is. And Mikel's like, listen, you're 10 points clear now, season's done, you're gonna win the league, just chill. All right, think of Mönchengladbach, remember me as your assistant now, and I'm giving you advice. Just go a little easier with this team, and then we move it. I scratch your back, you scratch mine, sort of thing.
Somehow I don't think so, mate. It's a bit like
it's never gonna happen.
Some of these big boxing fights, so you've got 2 fighters and they're best of mates. Yeah, we're best friends. Yeah, we sparred together, and then they go in and want to kill each other. You know what I mean? That is going to be the same.
No, listen, it's wishful thinking. At the end of the day, it's football. Arteta's going to want to get one over the master, and Pep's going to want to get one over the pupil. At the end of the day, so
Yeah, and then after that game, Benfica, and that is an absolute must-win.
Monstrous. Monstrous.
One away goal, is that enough?
Do you know what, Robbie? The thing is, is that obviously if we were playing with fans and we're back at the Emirates, I wouldn't be too worried about it in that respect. I would say, yeah, you know what? We got an away goal. We've had worse performances in Europe, in the Europa League. We alluded to this under Unai Emery that we lost away in France 3-1 in the first leg. And you remember how it was absolute meltdowns after that game. And then we won the second leg convincingly. You know, I can go right back to Cup Winners' Cup days. And I remember we drew a semi-final away to Paris. Paris Saint-Germain 1-1. That was a great result. 1 goal away from home. Normally, 1-1's not a bad result in Europe. It's just the fact that what's so annoying is that you win the group, you win your group stages of the Europa League to get the home leg second, to have the advantage. Benfica finished second in their group behind Rangers. So they end up having to go away second because it's meant to be a disadvantage. But because of COVID and everything moving around, it doesn't really matter whether you finish first or second.
Although Arsenal do know, going into that game, that if they keep a clean sheet, they're through.
We knew that against Olympiacos last season.
Yeah, I know that. But I'm looking at what I saw at Benfica the other night. They never looked like, you know, if they hadn't got that penalty, they didn't look like scoring in a million years.
No, they were dreadful.
You're right, and all right, they may not be as dreadful as that in you know, when the game comes around again, but they look very poor, right?
You know what I'm hopeful of? I'm hopeful that they actually attempt to attack us.
Well, at some stage in that game, they're going to have to, aren't they?
Yeah.
So basically, if we go out in that game and we play to the best of our ability and defend right, we're through. You just got to keep a clean sheet. But will the nerves hold? That's the thing, you know what I mean? Because there will come a stage where Benfica will have a go. I think in the second half of that game the other day, they did in the second half try to have more of a go. But they did, you know, did Leno have anything to do?
No, not really.
And like you sort of said earlier on in the podcast, man, you know what I mean? Had we have Aubameyang had his shooting boots on, we could have been looking at 3-4 in that game. You know, even though we weren't great either, we weren't great.
No. That's if the thing. At least we had the chances.
If we turn up in that game, from what I saw of them, from what I see of us, we turn up, we're supposed to go through. But it's huge. And then after that, Leicester. Another team in which we've not been great at. You know, we lost to them earlier on in the season. That was one of our, you know, poor performances. Actually, in the first half, we played all right. Vardy, again, did a Vardy against us. Shocking.
We should have had a goal.
Yeah. And then our record away at the King Power has not been great over the last few seasons. However, again, no fans. So, but that's, again, another really, really tough. I mean, you couldn't ask for a worse 3 games. 3 games from hell.
Yeah, it's awful, isn't it?
But then on the other hand, imagine this, if they won those 3 games.
Oh, mate.
Imagine what that could do for Mikel Arteta.
Yeah.
Imagine what that could do for Arsenal's season. Imagine what that could do for every Arsenal fan. If you came through, that's what we've not done over the years. Don't get me wrong, to win all 3 of those games would be unbelievable. But we've not, over the last few years, we've not done that. We've never negotiated a really difficult period by coming through with some amazing results. We might get one decent result in there, and you know what I mean, but we always seem to fall.
There's always one.
Even for me, I mean, over those 3 games, what would be a good return for you? I mean, for me, what I'd look at and I say amazing would be a draw against City, win against Benfica, win against Leicester.
What I look at and I would say would be amazing would be a win against Man City, a 0-0 draw against Benfica, and a win against Leicester.
That would be amazing.
Because you go through on the away goals rule against Benfica.
On the away goals.
Do you know what I mean? So I look at that and I would say I'd take that now. I would take a boring, drab, just absolute snooze fest against Benfica. I wouldn't care if we had 0 shots on goal, if we got a 0-0. I would take your hand off now to have that result all day because you're through. All right. Obviously, I want us to go and play and be attacking and it's exciting and we score goals. But if you give me that option now, mate, all day long, all day, I'll take that. You'd take it, wouldn't you?
Oh, come on, man. What, a win against City?
How could you
I mean,
not?
of course. But what I'm saying is, it's tough. It's really, really tough because we're talking about the best 2 teams in England right now, in Leicester and City, and then Benfica as well. But listen, these are the sort of things that turn your whole team around, turn everything around for a team, for just permanently could turn it around.
Yeah, I get that.
That's why I want Arsenal to go for these games. I don't want them to just think, because as I said, I'm hearing from fans here, City right off, Leicester probably right off. Let's just concentrate on beating Benfica. I don't like that attitude.
No, I get what you're saying.
That's what we got to start getting rid of at Arsenal Football Club. Listen, I get it. I understand why people are saying it. And they're probably being logical. But we need to start now looking at things different and saying, we need to try and, I hope Mikel Arteta is saying to the players, we want to win the next 3 games, not just lip service either. And this is our plans to do it. Because,
Yeah, no, I get what you're saying. Like I said to you, the team that I went with for Man City, that is still a very strong team. A very energetic, very hungry, and not one where you could go, we're writing this game off. It's a nothing. I understand the priority is Benfica, given, what's at the end of it, the pot of gold, should we say, the Champions League and the trophy. Let's not forget that. But yeah, you're going to have to balance them right because we ain't got the squad depth to play the same team all the way through. And I just feel that the team that I went with for Man City, it's a very good team. And I know a lot of people will go, yeah, but play Saka because he's great. Or if we played Saka against Man City and he got injured, we already know the outrage would be just unprecedented. Why did you play him, Mikel? Oh, you run him into the ground. Now we've lost on Thursday and we're in.
Although, as I said, I like your team that you've selected, but I think I would play Saka, if I'm being honest.
I wouldn't. You got to remember, right? Listen, Robbie, you go to the Villa game, right? You can even go to Wolves, yeah? Played against Wolves, played against Villa, and got kicked to pieces, right? Go to the Leeds game, kicked to pieces, played it, all right? Then you go to this one, played it. He's played a lot of football. So I feel that this is one, given his importance, give him a couple of days break, right? He's been kicked to pieces. He works his nuts off, and
I play him. I'll be honest with you. I play him. That'd be one of the changes that you put in your team that I would play Saka. He's a young kid, man. And he's strong and he can take it. But anyway, those are the games that are coming up. It's 3 games from hell. How are we going to come out? Will we come through the fire?
Do you know the funniest thing? When you was talking about winning those next 3 games, for around about 20 seconds, you looked like you believed yourself. You was like, yeah, I could see this little moment in your head, like, yeah. And then it was like, no, wake up, Robbie, wake up. No, we ain't winning the next 3.
Yeah, you see, this is the psyche we need to get rid of.
Exactly. We need to have a good mindset.
Big club mentality is, the next 3 games ahead, of course we can win it. That's the big club, well, that's a different thing. If you haven't already got that in your head, right, that we can win it. If that's not already in your head that we can win it, right, we're not going to win it.
Yeah.
We're not going to win it.
Yeah,
so that has to be that has to be in your psyche that, you know, we can win this game. And we can win this
positive.
Game. And imagine, imagine if what that would do for Mikel Arteta and what that would do for our season if, you know, we kicked it off with a win against Man City. You then go bouncing into that game against Benfica thinking, you know what, we can beat them. And then if you then say Leicester next weekend, well, we beat City last weekend, or we got a great draw against. Why should we be scared of Leicester? We're going to go there. We're going to turn you lot over as well. And that's what I'm saying about. We know. Listen, these are very good sides we're talking about. It may not, you know, it's easier said than done. But that's how I want our players and our manager thinking, and our fans. But anyway, DT, thanks very much for the podcast. I think we're going to return next week after the weekend with a All Guns Blazing extra, right? So we're going to return with one of those, and we'll probably be talking about the City game and looking ahead to the Benfica game. Should be great. But yeah, DT, thanks once again. Listen, hopefully we'll be back in the studio very soon. When you're,
I can't wait. I can't wait. Oh my God, I love my kids, man, but they're doing my nutting. Jesus Christ, this is the best thing about football, and like even going to the studio and stuff like, you get that release, that moment, that little time to yourself where, you know, although putting up with Ty for about 2 hours is like having another kid, but do you know what I mean? It's just, oh mate, I understand why we got to do it, but oh my God, I love my kids to pieces. But please, Boris, let me out, please.
Thanks a lot, man. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, man.